First 300 miles in my new Ram 1500. How's it doing? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Automotive FST. Real quick, if you haven't yet, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So I have 315 miles on my Ram 1500 pickup truck. How's it doing? You know, I've decided to make these videos rather frequently. You know, a lot of people will do a first 500, a first 1,000, and so on. But given the bad rap that Ram gets with their trucks, I thought I'd go ahead and do them a little more frequently just to let everybody know how the Ram 1500 really is, how it really is doing. And of course, I'm talking about reliability. Are there any issues, problems, hiccups? And of course, I'll cover even the most minor things. Now, quick little recap. Shortly after I got the truck, and this seems to be the case with every Mopar product I've ever had, I had a black screen on the radio. Started it up, screen was black, turned it off, turned it back on, screen was fine. No problems since. I also had, after that, this was a little bit later on, rear camera that wasn't working. I had gone into reverse. I was at a parking lot trying to see behind me so I could line up with the lines, you know, keep everybody away from me. And I got a message that said something to the effect of rear camera is not available right now. Try again later, something like that. So again, shut the truck off, turned it back on, and everything has been fine ever since, no issues. I'll have to apologize if the camera's bouncing around a little bit. I'm on the roughest road I drive on. We'll be off of it in just a minute. So those are the two hiccups that I've had. I've had them, like I said, in every other Ram or Mopar rather vehicle. Jeeps, Ram trucks. I had a Ram Rebel, same thing. Black screen once, actually had a whole black gauge cluster in that truck. Everything went dead. Turned it off, turned it on, never happened again. And I think, this is my own theory, I think that happens because for some reason, after you get the truck, it updates the radio system, if you will, and then goes black the first time. Once you turn it back on, it's fine. Seems to be the case for me. Who knows? Now, how's the truck doing otherwise? Well, let's talk about fuel economy real quick. You know, everybody hates to talk about it, but everybody does. Right now, I'm getting, let me scroll through, I'm getting 14.3 miles per gallon. Now, that's with primarily 50 mile an hour and mostly lower driving. So I would call it city driving. So 14.3 miles per gallon average in the city. The truck is stock as far as the wheels and tires and all that stuff. I haven't done anything to alter or mess up the computer generated figures. So that's what the truck is getting. And it's actually getting about 9/10 miles per gallon better now than it was early on. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, the truck's breaking in a bit. And two, I switched to 89 octane fuel, which is the minimum fuel requirement for the Ram 1500. You can burn 87, but it states in the manual that performance and economy will be reduced. I believe that's true. So if about 1 mile per gallon, in my experience so far, is important to you, I would recommend burning 89 octane, assuming yours requires the same as mine, in your Ram truck. You'll get just a little bit better fuel economy. Speaking of performance, again, related to fuel usage or fuel type, I don't notice a whole lot of difference. The truck could be just a tad quicker. It was quick before when I was burning 87. And by the way, I only burned about 1 tank of gas at 87 before I got smart and actually read the manual. So it's negligible. I wouldn't say it makes a huge difference when it comes to performance, but nonetheless, there might be something there. It could just be in my head, the placebo effect, if you will. As far as everything else on the truck, the ride quality is awesome, nice and smooth. It feels like you're just gliding along. love it. It is the best ride that I've had in any pickup truck, midsize or full size. And I've had a couple of F-150s. I have had, I think, three Toyota Tundras, and of course the Ram Rebel before, which, by the way, was almost as smooth as this one. Not quite, and that I think is due to the air suspension. My Ram Rebel had an air suspension on it, and I would say, in remembering back, this truck with a more traditional, if you will, or non-air suspension is even a little bit smoother. I do like it better, but nonetheless, love the ride in this truck. Interior-wise, no issues. Don't have any panels that are vibrating. You guys can hear as I do the video. The only sound that you get in here might be my center console junk bouncing around a little bit, which I haven't heard at all since the video came on. And then road noise, of course, from tires, which you're always going to get unless you have sound deadening and stuff like that in the truck. Fit and finish-wise, everything is perfect. I haven't found anything in this truck, not a frayed little piece of material or a little piece of plastic that's popping up. And speaking of that, again, I will continue to compare this truck to the Tundra since I have had Tundras most recently. There was a couple of pieces in the Tundra that had warped a little bit, probably from sitting out in the heat. Maybe they were always that way, I'm not sure. But I'm talking about the covers for the speakers in the dash, in the front on both sides. I did notice that those had kind of bowed up a little bit on the edges. In other words, the way that they went in, they kind of snapped in, and the edges had kind of bowed up a little bit. So when you looked at them, they looked like they weren't just right. No issues with that in this truck. It's a different setup the way that they are anyway. They would really have to be messed up in order to pop up and you'd be able to see them. So nothing like that in this truck. From the outside, paint-wise, I haven't noticed any problems. No chips or scratches or anything weird in the paint. Didn't notice anything like that on the Tundra either. And as far as where all the panels come together and things like that, I haven't looked at it with a fine-tooth comb yet, but I gotta say, everything looks spot on. I haven't seen any areas that looked funky or weird like I have on my Toyota Tacoma. I did a video about that on the Rob Motive channel. There are some problems when it comes to fit and finish on my truck anyway, the 2021. So overall, love the truck. I have to say, this Ram truck is my favorite full-size truck so far. It is the best that I've had, both from a quality standpoint and from a technology standpoint. Even though I had the little hiccup with the screen, it's still awesome. I love the way everything is set up. It all makes sense. It's simple to use. I didn't have to read the audio part of the manual cover to cover to be able to jump in this truck and do what I want to do. Awesome job as far as I'm concerned with Ram, and I highly recommend this truck so far in the first 300 miles. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've got a Ram truck. How is it doing for you? Had any issues? Had to take it back to the shop? And how's the fit and finish on your truck? I'd be curious to know. Real quick, if you didn't early on, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos, like future updates on how this Ram 1500 is doing. I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, as I mentioned, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma. And Rob Motive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.